Hi everyone, this is David and welcome to week 6 of Writing 293, Introduction to Professional Writing. In week 6, we're going to get started in earnest on your final writing project due in its final form in week 8, and that is the short business report. But first, let's take a look at these directions right here about week 6. This bottom one right here concerns the APA quiz. If you haven't taken it, it is due now in week 6. It's worth 2.5% of your grade. I know that most of you have already taken it. If you haven't taken it, I want to remind you of tools for helping you with your APA quiz down here at the bottom of the content stack. Please take advantage of those resources. You'll be glad you did. Okay, let's look at our assignments for this week. The first one is Scenario, Anderson College Part 2. Well, you thought you had graduated from Anderson College and you were done with it, but you were wrong. Jay Anderson has been fired and you have been hired. Your job as a paid intern is to rewrite Jay Anderson's terrible instructions. That is the job that Dean Johnson has given to you. So, what are you going to do? Let's go back to week 6. And the first thing you want to do is to download Jay's instructions. So we open up that link, and if you scroll all the way down to the bottom of the page, you see the download link. Click on it. That will download Jay's instructions as a Word document. Then go ahead and open up that Word document, and you now have access to Jay's instructions, and you can simply use his graphics. Well, you don't have to. You can change them if you want to. But you can use his graphics and then you change the instructions, change how they are written. If you want to add arrows to something, in case you don't know how to do that in Word, let me show you very quickly. You go to the Insert tab, Shapes, choose the arrow that you want, and then draw in that arrow. This one is coming in as blue. Let's say that we want it to be red. We go up and we click on red, and then we increase the width of it. I think 3 or 4. And then you just move it to wherever you want it. And that's how you insert a shape in one of the existing graphics. And you continue doing that, rewriting the instructions and adding arrows or whatever other kinds of graphics that you want to add to compile an outstanding set of instructions for all the good folks at Anderson College. Okay, clicking out of this and taking our breadcrumbs back, let's go to your next assignment. Here's some interesting material on developing a writing plan, how to write a business report, and that's going to get you ready or help get you ready for your writing assignment number 5. Nothing is due for either of the 2 links. There's simply information there for you to read and to take in and to help you kind of figure out what this business report thing is all about. Let's go to your discussion topics for the week. In your week 6 discussion topic, you're going to post your instructions that you have rewritten and respond to at least one other student's post of those instructions. That's your first discussion board. Your second discussion board is to post a piece of primary research. Last week we defined primary research, and here are some examples of it. If you're writing about an intersection that needs a traffic light, you attach a JPEG file with a picture of that intersection. If you're writing about the need to move from Google to Outlook, attach a JPEG of how Outlook looks. In other words, you just want to get started by showing me and the rest of the class that you understand what primary research is and that you have begun collecting pieces of primary research for your final report. And I know from working with some of you last week that you've already got a great start on this. Because keep in mind that in this final business report, there is no research other than your primary research. In other words, you will not be using any outside sources in this final report. It is based entirely upon primary research, images, interviews, spreadsheets, and other kinds of data that you collected firsthand. Okay, let's go to the last assignment, and that is writing assignment number 5. Here are the full instructions for writing assignment number 5 in this downloadable Word document. Pull these up for you. You already know that you're going to be choosing a problem in your workplace or community. So far, everyone has done workplace, which I think is a great idea. Length is 1,400 to 1,600 words. So what is that? 3 to 4 pages. There are about 350 words on a double-spaced Word document, 12-point Times New Roman. Remember, you will not be citing any outside sources. The only thing that you would have to cite would be an interview with another person. You will have to format the report in APA style, and this video shows you how to do that. And you're going to be submitting drafts. So your first draft is due at the end of this week. Your second draft will be due at the end of week 7, and then your final draft, which will be graded, will be due at the end of week 8. Here are the components of the report. This week you're going to be turning in only these components: title page, a memo, or often called a transmittal letter or a transmittal memo to the decision maker, executive summary, and table of contents. That's what you're turning in only in this week, week 6. Now here are examples of what these things should look like. Here's what your title page should look like. Here's what your memo to the decision maker or decision makers, if it's a group, should look like. Something happened with the spacing here. This area here is supposed to be aligned with January 19. Same thing with the subject line. It's supposed to be aligned in a vertical line there. Otherwise, this is a pretty good example of a transmittal memo. You give the purpose of the report, you indicate possible future actions, and then you acknowledge the opportunity. You're grateful for the opportunity, acknowledge any resources that you were given assistance with, and then in the final paragraph, what kind of follow-up action that you expect from or desire from the decision maker. Another thing that is due this week is the executive summary. As you know, the executive summary is a miniature version of your report. In other words, the executive summary is for executives who don't have time to dive into the weeds, and therefore it captures the full report on one page in miniature. It has the same sections as the original report, the longer report, but of course they're much more condensed. So here's what an executive summary looks like: purpose and method of the report, finding and conclusions, and recommendations. And again, your executive summary must fit on one page. It must be a complete distillation on one page. Will you say, Professor Taylor, and I use that term loosely, how can I write an executive summary of a full report that I haven't written yet? That is a very good question. So therefore, for the executive summary that is due this week, I will be looking primarily at your format, knowing that whatever you write will be subject to change in future drafts as you get into your final report more, as you develop more evidence, and as you develop more recommendations. So do the best job that you can on it this week, knowing that I will be looking primarily at the format, at the condensation, at the use of those particular headings, at the use of bullet lists, at the use of block paragraphing. Those are the things that I'm looking for in this executive summary. And then also do is a table of contents. This video shows you how to create a table of contents. And I've also uploaded another video that also shows you an alternate way of uploading a table of contents. So again, let me say what is due this week is only these items right here: title page, transmittal memo, executive summary, and table of contents. That is what is due at the end of week 6. And then in week 7, you will finish out the rough draft of the report while taking into consideration my feedback and the feedback of your peers. And then in week 8, you'll put it all together into one final finished report. Easy peasy. We're going to take this in steps, and we're going to make sure that you've got an outstanding report to submit to the decision maker at your workplace. As usual, any questions during the week, don't hesitate to get in contact. We will work it out. But so far, that has not been a problem with this class. This class is doing an outstanding job on all the assignments. And I look forward to your work this week as well. Talk to you later.